Hello, hello, and welcome back to Business First Creatives Podcast. I am going to chat with a new friend, Tiffany Crenshaw. Now, we have been in many of the same circles. We even attended Creative Educator Conference together this year, and I didn't actually get to sit down with her and have like a good conversation. So, y'all, you're hearing this conversation now live on the podcast. Tiffany, welcome.
Hi, I'm so excited.
So, guys, let me tell you why Tiffany's here. I am in the email growth membership by Colie. And Tiffany was recently on a private podcast that Colie launched. And when I heard her talking, I was literally driving between Boulder and my house. I pulled over and I made myself a little note, invite Tiffany to the podcast, sent her a little Instagram note, and here she is. So when I tell you guys that sometimes I see something on Threads or Instagram, or I hear somebody on my podcast, and I'm inviting them, like literally I'm doing it at like a red light, or I pull over and do it to be safe. I only pulled over this time because there was construction. I mean, I couldn't even find the thing to hit the voice note on that particular day. But Tiffany is going to be talking about like a really juicy topic today. You guys know I have been in an email mood. I have my new course, Email Like You Mean It, which is out now, but that is your client experience emails. And Tiffany is going to help us with our email marketing today in a really unique way that I hope helps some of you guys. So, Tiffany, why don't you just tell me a little bit about how you started Animal House Photography and now how you are kind of migrating over to your new education brand, Tiffany Crenshaw Education?
Yes. So I'm also glad I'm not the only one that sends random voice memos to myself, like at traffic lights.
All the time, girl, all the time.
All the time. But yeah, so Animal House started when my daughters were very little. They were 3 and 1. And I just wanted to be able to take pictures of them. I think that's how a lot of moms start. We're like, oh, we have these cute babies. Let's take pictures of them. But over time, people start asking and, oh, are you taking pictures? And I was real resistant for a while, but I finally decided, you know what, let me just try. And it took off. And I really like dove strong into storytelling and trying to really capture those like authentic, just make you feel something moments in your images. And so that was going really well. But my roots are teacher. I came from the classroom. I taught second grade for 7 years. I was a reading specialist for a couple years. And I always knew that I would somehow end up back in the classroom. I did not realize it would be teaching photographers. But I just feel such a passion specifically for women entrepreneurs that they need to be profitable. Like I feel so passionately that women shouldn't just be out here working for pennies and trying to balance their family lives. Like we're trying to balance marriages maybe, or children, other things, and then we're also getting burned out working for so little. And so my heart just really became to help inspire women that you can do both, you can have both, and that there are ways to do it. So
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't really told this story on my own podcast very much, but when I first started out, I kind of grew my business as I sent Chloe to school a little bit more at a time. Like she only started in preschool 2 mornings a week for like 2.5 hours. That is not enough time to grow a business. And when people asked me, well, how did you do your initial pricing? Because I was never cheap. Like my starting was 700. And I said, well, what I did was I figured out how much money my husband was making. And I figured out how I could make the same amount of money per hour. And that is how I created my initial prices, because I didn't want to undervalue the time that I was spending to grow my business compared to what my husband was doing to go to work every day to, essentially pay our mortgage, if you will. But I, like you, have a very soft spot. I want everybody to be, I say, sustainable and profitable, because there's nothing worse than, like, for photographers, it ends up being like the first 2 years, I think, where, you're working and you're working and you're working and you're really not seeing the fruits of your labor. And by the time year 3 pops up, it's the biggest statistic that I think I've seen. At year 3 is where a lot of people, it's where they put up or they shut up. Like they either start moving towards making it an actual business and not a hobby, or they end up quitting and actually just doing it as a hobby. So that's like an important milestone, if you will, for most photographers.
Yeah, absolutely. Sustainable and profitable. Like my favorite words.
I mean, I feel like they should be branded on my forehead. But let's get into today's topic because I've had quite a few people on this podcast talking about email marketing. Most of them were not photographers. I will say that. Most of them were outside of our industry. But when I heard what you were doing to grow your list, I was like, oh my gosh, like I think everyone needs to hear this. So, Tiffany, tell me a little bit about how we should be growing our email lists at in person events.
Yeah. So I think really where my passion for email marketing and growing it in person came from was just realizing that I have such limited time, right? And so a lot of times we're on social media so much and we're posting and we're reaching just a few people and we're kind of in a sea of all of these other online people versus when you are in person, you really are becoming the face of your brand. People are connecting with who you are as a person, they are engaging with you, and it's a great time to be able to point them towards this email list rather than just pointing them towards like, oh, just follow me on Instagram, right? Like because they follow, however many other people, but being able to say, hey, come join this little private community that I have where I'm sending out things that I know are nurturing you right where you are.
So, first of all, let's talk about the kind of in person events that you're actually talking about. So, what kind of in person events are you attending? Because, like I said, you and I were at Creative Educator, but like you weren't actually talking about like conferences in particular. You were also
Right.
talking about just being in person with like the people in your community. So, what kind of events do you look to go to?
Yeah. So I'm always looking for events where I'm going to be able to connect with either my ideal client, photography wise, or I'm looking to connect with other creatives that serve the same clientele
Mhm.
as I do. So those are kind of my two gauges whenever I'm deciding. And we really do have to decide, right? Like we only have limited time. So
Yes.
being really intentional about where you are spending your in-person time, I think is important. Recently, just an example, I found this. We have like a mom baby social club situation here in Huntsville that opened recently. And I was approached by the owner to do some headshots for some of the moms.
Mhm.
So I was like, great, this is going to be a great opportunity for me to be able not only to serve in this way, but also let me get email addresses while I'm here. Let me talk to the moms while I'm here. Find out what is it that you do? What is your brand? Like, what kind of things are you looking for in terms of growth? And pointing them towards, oh, I have a resource for that. Here's my email list. Like, let's hop on there. I taught a in-person photography class there. So moms with their phones, it was like, hey, here's a free class. Come, I'll show you how to use your iPhone to take better pictures of your kiddos. And you better believe, like, while I'm teaching, I'm passing my phone around that has my little QR code that scans them right into my email list. So now I have a whole other little segment of people that I can specifically target with the materials and the offers that I'm putting out there.
Let's talk about this QR code because this is literally when I was like, I'm going to pull my car over and write this down. So I have done that kind of like to activate people on my podcast to maybe get them on my email list at things like Creative Educator. But I never thought to do that when I was at in-person events for like photography clients or like mom events. Like it never occurred to me. Now, when we talk about getting somebody to join our email list online, I'm going to specifically say that because online, I feel like you always have to entice them. You're specifically giving them some freebie that's caught their eye, whether it's a video training or a PDF download or whatever it is. Like that is what's drawing people to actually join your email list. And more recently, I've been seeing people say, no, but your email list is the freebie. Like you don't have to offer them something as an incentive. Being on your email list should be awesome and amazing. And I feel like that's what you're doing. But when they scan the QR code, are they in fact getting a freebie that you have pre-selected? Or are they just joining your email list? And do you have some kind of like welcome series that kicks it off?
Yeah, so it really depends on the event. I've done both ways. I've done where I have a freebie and I can share about another event where I've used that and it's been highly successful.
Mhm.
But I've also done where it's just you being at this event that I've hosted, this free event, this is an exchange. So you're here. And so in exchange for that, I'm going to ask you to join my email list. And it never feels salesy.
Mhm.
I keep it in conversation. I keep it light. I don't make it this big, like, oh, now you're going to get all these spam emails from me. But it does trigger a welcome series, and I cater it to whoever, whatever event I'm at. So for those
Okay.
moms, right. So like for that mom group, I know that all those are moms with little toddlers. And I knew that I had Mother's Day sessions coming up. So I naturally started sharing blog posts with them about why you should have images with your children while they're young, or
Mhm.
what types of things might you wear to a motherhood session, and just starting that way by feeding them content that you probably already have. Like you probably already have Instagram post or a blog or something like that. You're not having to create a ton. You're just repurposing the things you have and catering it towards that group that you're interacting with.
I mean, I would call that lazy marketing, and that's my favorite kind. Like,
Favorite
you didn't
kind.
feel like you had to create this brand new freebie for this one event that you're going to. You are using content that you have already created. And again, as you said,
Right.
meeting them where they are. You know that they're moms of young children, and you know that you have Mother's Day sessions coming up. And so you are trying to gently guide them to booking
Right.
one of those sessions, which I think is awesome. So I guess it's a different QR code then. Like, is it always like, because you were doing something related to Mother's Day, that wouldn't be the one that you would do in like October. So,
Right.
like, talk to me about your process. And I don't mean
Yeah.
go into like, the details, but I know people are going to be like, well, that sounds like it takes a lot of time. So, like, how
Yeah.
long does it take you to make a
It
QR
takes
code?
no time. It takes so little time. And I think that's where we get stuck a lot of times, is in the logistics of like, oh my gosh, it's another thing. But it's really so simple with probably tools you're already using. So I will just go on to Canva,
Mhm.
and you can make a QR code in less than a minute on Canva. It takes no time at all. And so all I'll do is I'll go on Flowdesk, and I'm a big proponent, if you don't have an email marketing system, you need to get an email marketing system. It has been a game changer for me because you can segment your audience. You can have these different little communities within your email system.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's a matter of the 5 minutes it takes me to go on Canva, make the QR code. I make a form on my Flowdesk, and I just link it to something that I already
Mhm.
have. I'm not really creating a lot of new things at this point because I'm serving really similar audiences, and eventually they're all going to funnel into my photography email list.
Yeah.
So I think if you've got Canva, just you can put in there on the template design QR code generator, it will make it for you in no time. I usually like to put it on top of a pretty picture that I've taken,
Mhm.
just so when I'm showing them my phone, it's something lovely that they can look at. And but I keep it really simple.
I mean, agreed. As photographers, we should have our images everywhere. I mean, I say the same thing when you're making like your proposals to have people book.
Right.
Like, you make art, make your art show everywhere that it can, not just your website, not just your Instagram. It should be in your emails, it should be on your opt in page. Your images should be everywhere. I mean, I love that you're saying that it doesn't take very much time. And I just want to highlight, because you said it, but I want to make sure that the audience isn't like glossing over it. When she makes that form, I'm sure that she is tagging people with where she met them, because that's important information. Any of us who are looking at data in order to make marketing decisions, like if you see after the year that you ended up booking, I don't know, like $6,000 from this one event, that might be
Right.
worth repeating.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and that's another thing, is you can, because when I first started, I didn't know that you could, or the value in segmenting things into, this event, and I just had a general bucket of photography, or
Mhm.
education. And so now I'm making every little segment. So if this was, the Mom Baby Social Club, it's labeled that. So I know exactly where they came from
Mhm.
and exactly how to reach them. I had mentioned there was another event, so I did a trade show. That's another way to do an in-person event as a photographer. And again, you've got to be really critical when you're deciding what things you're investing your
Mhm.
money into, making sure you know who are the clients that are going to be there. Are these my people? Like, because we don't want to just toss our efforts everywhere. But there's a maternity expo, and I knew, okay, I want to be able to book some newborn sessions. So I started with, I'm going to do a giveaway of a maternity planning guide, how to
Mhm.
plan your maternity session. Spoiler, it's just a blog I already had. It's it's nothing anything fantastic or anything like that. Like, it's already been made. So I'm not having to make this whole thing. I'm just simply linking this to this little QR code. And so all these moms, as they're coming through, they're scanning this, they're hopping on my email list, and now I'm able to reach out to them and follow up with, hey, let's talk about in-home newborn sessions.
Mhm.
And I'm not having to just post all these posts on Instagram. I now have this warm client base right from my local hometown that is ready to hear from me. And they've already met me. So we have this connection.
I mean, and I will take a small, warm audience over a bigger, cold audience that you don't know anything about any day of the week. Because let's be honest, I mean, I have over 4,000 followers on Instagram. I don't know who those people are. If I was
Right.
trying to sell photography sessions, I don't know how many of them live in the Boulder area. If I was specifically trying to sell newborns, I don't know how many of them are currently pregnant. Like, that's just not a thing that I know. But when you are at an event where you can specifically collect emails from people that you know for a fact would be perfect for your newborn sessions, that is just like marketing gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. We don't know this wide net that we have. Like, followers are just numbers on
Mhm.
Instagram. But with your email list, using those analytics, you can see exactly who, and you start to notice, like, Sarah has opened every single email I've sent in the last 6 months. Maybe she hasn't reached out yet, but that's powerful information because you've met Sarah, you've talked to her, and she's continually reading all of that content you're putting out. It means that she's interested. And at some point, it might warrant even a phone call like, hey, we met at this thing. I just wanted to check and see, how's your pregnancy going? I wanted just to check in on you, see if there's any way I can support you. Just little simple things like that make huge difference in our marketing.
I mean, marketing, but let's also talk about money. So let's talk about that example that you and I were talking about before we hit record. So you are someone who clearly pays attention to your analytics like I do. I mean, yes, those of you on my email list, I totally stalk what you do. Are you opening my emails? Are you clicking my emails? But Tiffany, tell me about the guy that we were talking about before we hit record.
Yes, the guy. Okay, we'll call him
The
we'll call him
guy.
Sam. I don't know what is we'll call him Sam. So, I had been advertising these Mother's Day minis for several weeks, sending out multiple emails, multiple follow-ups and things like that. And because I use my analytics and I see we're analytics buddies, so I really love that. But because I use those analytics, I was able to see that every Mother's Day email was opened by this guy named Sam, and not only opened, but he also was clicking the link that went to my sales page. So that tells me he's interested, but for some reason, he's not signing up.
Mhm.
So I decide, instead of the generic like Flowdesk email that goes to everybody, I'm gonna put in the subject line, "Hey Sam, can I ask you a question?" And I literally put, and so he knows this isn't just a form. Like, I'm writing this to him. And I just said, hey, I noticed you've been opening the emails and checking out the link, but you haven't reached out to book. Is there any particular reason? I just would love to know how to serve you better. He emails right away. I was confused with the booking process. And I said, can we hop on a phone call? He's like, yep. By the end of that day, he had booked a Mother's Day session for his wife and a full family session. So from that one little email, it produced about $1,600 in revenue that would have been missed. To this day, Sam still would have been clicking links like every just and we might think it's common practice or common sense to respond, I have a question. But that's not the way everyone's mind works. Some people feel hesitant to approach you, or they're doing it in the car at a red light and they're like, I'll deal with this later. And so we've got to be the type of entrepreneurs that are going after the type of clients that we want.
Yeah, I want us all to be a little bit more proactive because as you were telling me this story, I was thinking about one of my coaching clients, and I'm not going to name her because she's going to be like, oh my God, you called me out on the podcast.
Right.
But she recently launched some very special, like specialty sessions that she wanted to do over the summer. And when I asked her how it was going, she was telling me. And so I was like, okay, let's just go look at your analytics. So I'm going to each email that she sent. I think she had sent 3 at that point. And I was like, did this person book? And she was like, yes. And then I was like, okay, did this person book? And she was like, no. I was like, okay, they clicked your first email 3 times. They clicked your second email twice. I'm going to need you to send them a personal email. I'm going to need you to just reach out and be like, hey, if you're interested in one of these sessions, let's chat. Do the dates not work? I mean, because sometimes it is that they haven't booked for like a multitude of reasons. Maybe it
Right.
was that, the process was unclear, as Tiffany said, but also maybe it was that they really wanted to, but none of your dates worked out and they just didn't want to contact you and be like, hey, I mean, I know you're only offering them on these dates, but it just doesn't work for me. So
Right.
again, I feel like all of us could use this as a lesson to be a little bit more proactive, especially when you can see on your analytics who's opening your emails and who's clicking on them. Now, the opposite of that is also true. If you are sending out sales emails for Mother's Day sessions, as Tiffany was, and you see that your open rate was only 20%, don't assume no one wanted to book you. Hell, no one saw that. You need to send some
Right.
more emails to get your open rate up so that you can make sure that people actually saw the offer and then
Right.
decided not to book instead of just not seeing it at all.
Right. Well, and that to that point, also, I think that's again some power in person things. And when we connect with people face to face, I had a client that had mentioned she wanted headshots. And when my branding and headshot minis came out, I was sending my emails and she had never responded.
Mhm.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to send her a voice memo. Like we talked about this in person. She hasn't responded. I've sent 6 emails at this point. And I messaged her and she said, "Oh, are you doing those? Are you doing headshot minis?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I've been sending emails." She's like, "Oh, I must have missed them." And I think we assume that we are annoying people because we are sending repeat messages. But a lot of times people just don't see. She also
Mhm.
booked that and she also got 2 of her coworkers to also book those branding
See,
headshot
look at you,
minis.
Tiffany. Look at you.
Like it's just there is just you cannot undervalue that personal follow-up, which I know wasn't exactly the topic of our discussion,
Oh, that's okay.
but
I
I
think this is
it's
a
so
good
important.
tangent.
It is so important. It is so important to have that personal connection with people.
And I mean, think about the person on the other end. They know that they've completely missed the email, but you actually took time out of your day to personally send them a voice memo. No pressure. Just, I know that we discussed your interest in this and you haven't booked. So I just wanted to make sure that it didn't get lost in the shuffle of your inbox. Because, guys, everyone who looks at my phone gasps. I don't know if you're one of those people, Tiffany. I have like 20,000 unread emails. I have so many
It's so
emails in
bad.
my
It's
inbox.
so
It's so
bad.
bad.
It's so bad. Yeah, it really is. My husband took over my personal email and he now keeps it empty and clear for me because he was like, "What is happening? What is going on in here?" I'm like, "I can't be bothered. It's just too much."
So I want you guys to think about all of your clients as being me. And if you sent an email, no matter if you sent it 6 times, like Tiffany said, I might have just missed it. It might have gotten so buried that by the time I looked at my email that day, all your emails were down and I just didn't have the energy to scroll that far. Scroll
Right.
fatigue is
Absolutely.
real.
It is. It absolutely is real.
So, email marketing. Photographers seem to make it way more complicated than it is. We already talked about how quickly you can make a QR code, how quickly you can make that form. But, Tiffany, out of curiosity, how often are you emailing, let's say your list as a whole? Because you and I could both go into, well, this segment, this segment, this segment.
Right,
But, like, as
right.
a whole, how many emails do you try to send a month?
Yeah. So I try to email my 2 main lists, which are my photography clients and my education clients. I try to send a weekly email.
Okay.
And one thing that also would help with that is if you get your email formatted the way that you want it. Okay, put in the time up front. It'll take you a little bit of time, but decide like what flow do you want to this email and what
Mhm.
sections do you want and make it fun. Like it doesn't need to be this like boring thing. It can be fun. Like you can have a section on, my favorite things right now, where you give them some of the things you're into right now. You can talk about a personal story. You can invite them into something that you're doing, point them towards your blog, which will improve your SEO, as we
Hmm.
all know. But get it set. And then all I do every week is I just duplicate those emails and I just change the content, but the structure is there, because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with the blank, like that blank screen is
Hmm.
just staring at us and we're like, I don't know what to say. So if you can get it made one time, then you're just replacing content. And when you do it weekly, it helps stay top of mind, because they may only read one a month.
Yeah.
So like they may only read one of your emails. So if you're only emailing them once a month, once every other month, seasonally, chances are they're not going to see that. So being consistent, I think, is really important.
And I think that we can't underestimate the power of them just seeing you in their inbox. So, for example, if I was going to send, I don't know, an email about my Disneyland trip and some
Mhm.
tips for if my clients are thinking about going to Disneyland soon. Guys, you have no idea how many of my photography clients are like, what hotel should I stay at? How long does it really take to get to the park? Blah, blah, blah. If I sent an email that was just about Disney, first of all, it would probably catch their attention. But second of all, even if there wasn't anything in that email related to, hey, come book a session with me, I have now placed myself front of mind to where if they were even having any kind of an inkling of it's time for family photos again, seeing my email is probably going to jog that in their memory for them. The other
Right.
thing that I hear from photographers all the time is, oh my gosh, like once a week, Colie, like that a lot. Like, what would I say once a week? And it's because a lot of the people that I talk to, and I want you to tell me if this is true for you too, they think that they're supposed to send 4 sales emails a month. And I'm like, no, gosh, no.
Right.
So, I mean, you're supposed
Right.
to bring your clients in and tell stories. But Tiffany, so what's your experience? Like, what's your cadence for those 4 emails? How many are selling, like straight selling? How many just
Right.
have like a sales in the PS or, the footer or whatever? Tell me
Right.
about your cadence.
Yeah. So I always keep some sort of call to action at the bottom of my emails. And that could just be, even something as simple as the new blog for that week.
Hmm.
And I'm very intentional with whatever blog I'm highlighting in that email. It's going to be something that I'm currently wanting to shoot. So if I'm working on summer sessions, then those blogs are going to be related to summer sessions. And so they'll be able to know, oh, I can reach out and book one of these.
Hmm.
But it doesn't have to be that is the main, like, hey, book a session, right? People read between the lines. Like when your content is showing up consistently, it really kind of is selling itself. So a lot of times, at least once a month, I'm sharing just something personal from my life. Like when my son's birthday was last weekend, you better believe I talked about him growing up. I talked about making sure that, I know it was like really sad, but I'm like, making sure that I'm present in those moments and giving moms permission to just be present. And so there was no like, book a Mother's Day session or book a motherhood session, but it was genuinely, this is where I'm at and this is how I'm documenting my own son. And I put pictures in there, pictures of him that I've taken for his birthday. So these are just little nudges that can encourage people. You know what? I really want images like that. But it also keeps you a real person. You're not just some business that's selling to them. They're like, man, I want to work with her because she sees me. Like she gets me, she sees me. So at least one a month is going to be that. One a month is going to be focused on whatever the offer is going to be for that next month or the
Hmm.
next couple of months. And then one a month is going to be something related to like an education piece. So it might be, locations that you might want to have a session, right? Or I love partnering, again, the in person side with local businesses. I just partnered with a local spa, which was awesome. So I got a spa day and
Hmm.
I took pictures and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share about these because I have a lot of moms on my list that would also love a spa day.
Yeah.
And hey, by the way, you also could get some pictures. Like this is, so connecting the local community is another great way where people, like you said with Disneyland, they're looking to do these things. So why not get the information from us versus just some random other place online?
Absolutely. I mean, I love that you've had a spa day, by the way. I need a spa
Girl, it
day.
was fabulous. It was fabulous. I'm like, yes, a spa day. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, even though you've got a call to action in every email, which again, guys, everyone should have a call to action, but it doesn't have to be a sell call to action. It could
Right.
be a read my blog. It could be check out this local business. It could be whatever step it is that you want them to take after they have read that email. But it sounds to me like you're not doing a whole lot of, hey, come buy a photography session for me. That doesn't seem like what you're doing in your emails.
Right. No, I'm not doing a whole lot of that. And only because I know that people know what I'm selling. Like they're very well aware that I'm a photographer and that I want them to book a session. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have strong call to actions. And so, finding a way to make sure that you're encouraging people what you want them to do, but that it also is still feeling authentic and feeling not like you're only there to make money every week. That will burn you out and make you feel like I don't want to send emails because I just feel like I'm always asking. But I will say the caveat that if you're in sales mode, if you're launching something, it's okay to start sending multiple emails that week.
It
And you've
is.
got to like, and don't think that because you sent 3 that you're being annoying. Send the emails when you're launching and like full press, like I'm
Mhm.
trying to launch this thing. Send an email every day. Some days you might send 2 because they're not going to see them. They're not going to see them. So keep sending them, keep reminding them. It's okay when you're in that mode for a short time. You don't want to live there, but it's okay to be there when you when you need to.
When you need to. I mean, I
When you need
absolutely
to.
agree. One thing that I want to make sure that we don't completely gloss over is you were saying that, you like to do one email that's education based, like
Yeah.
where to have your sessions and stuff like that. Every time one of my guests mention this, I like to highlight the part that these blog posts do double and triple duty. Number one, they are on your blog to help with your SEO efforts. People who are actively looking for you in your community. Number two, you can do things like sending them out in your email marketing newsletters in order to drive people to your blog. Again, helps with website traffic and all that stuff. But the third is I can't help but mention this as your favorite client experience system strategist. Make sure that you are reusing these blogs inside of your client experience emails. If you have a blog post about where to have your session, make sure that that is like upfront in your client experience, either before they book you or after, so that you
Yep.
are sending them a piece of education that they can consume. Number one, to see your beautiful photography. And number two, because you're helping them make a decision that they have to make anyways. Everybody has to decide where to have their session unless it's a mini session. And then you don't get a choice. I tell you where we're
Right.
going.
Exactly.
But for a family session, your own, you can like make that decision. And so any educational blog post that you have can always serve double and triple duty.
Yeah, and it saves you from having to reinvent the wheel every time you're with a client. I love attaching blogs throughout all of those like client journey
Mm-hmm.
emails. I have one on what to do with your images after your session. I love that one because I need them to buy. Like this
Yes.
is the shopping time. So I'm getting them excited about, oh, I could get like this frame, I could do this album. They're seeing what other people have done with their images. And so it's not me having to say like you should buy these things. I'm letting these blogs work for me. They're like
Yes.
mini assistants, really.
And I've even taken it one step further. I tell my clients when I'm setting up like their Honeybook or Dubsado or whatever, I think client experience videos are now the rage. So don't just send them to a blog post. Make a 3 to 4 minute video where you are talking about your favorite products and link them inside of your emails right before you deliver the session so that they see the products and then they see their gorgeous images and they're like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, that image would make an awesome 16 by 20 framed print that Tiffany just shared with me in that video last week.
Absolutely. Loom for the win.
Loom is an amazing, yeah. I mean, the funny thing is everybody's, oh, well, I have so many tools to do this. I'm like, yeah, but I'm never getting rid of Loom. I mean, it's some of the best. $96, I think, is what I currently pay.
Yeah,
I am a big fan
it
of Loom,
is.
even though I have 4 other programs that do screen capturing videos. I'm like,
Right.
no, I'm never getting rid of Loom. Loom is my favorite.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing.
Okay, Tiffany, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience about any of the things that we've said, but also specifically gathering up emails in person?
Yeah, I think to some place to start is just to sit down and really write out maybe what are 5 in-person events you could do for the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
year. And they don't all have to be big things. It could even be that I'm going to go to this kids market, local little, farmers market, just with the premise of like, let me go, let me take my family, let me enjoy, but let me also be ready when I meet people and I'm able to engage with people, let me be ready to have somewhere to point them to.
Mm-hmm.
And it could also be you dreaming up what type of event would you like to host?
Yeah.
Is there a local group that has the type of clients that you want to serve? Or is there another small business that you could maybe partner with and do a combined event together? Just thinking outside of the box, but I think sitting down and really writing out that list is going to help, because I know for me, I could just feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And so when you get on there and you start looking, go on Facebook and look at events, like what's coming up, what type of things could you possibly be involved with? So I think sitting there, getting your plan for the rest of the year, because we have 2 more quarters left. We have Q3 and Q4. So I think we could all plan at least one type of event where we are really showing up and we're really building our list outside of just sending, Instagram posts.
Yes.
So,
Okay, y'all. I think it's a pretty rare event when the guest gives you homework and not me, yours truly. So, Tiffany gave y'all homework, and I expect all of you to do it. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes, sit down with a piece of paper, and think of local events that you could attend before the end of 2025. If you need suggestions, hit me up in your DMs. Also, again, look on your local Facebook. I mean, there's got to be something in your city that you can attend, but that is your homework. She said to write down 5 events. I'm going to say 2, but also make sure that you attend one. Like, don't just make it a wish list and like, oh, someday when I have time. Like, no, this is your homework. Find some events and attend at least one by the end of 2025 so that you have an excuse to go into Canva, make that QR code, and share it with the people that you meet. Tiffany, it has been fabulous to have you on the podcast. Why don't you tell people where they can find out more about you and your sessions if they happen to be local to Huntsville, or your education brand?
yes, so they can find me over at Animal House Photography. And also when you can also find me at Tiffany Crenshaw Education. So I have 2 Instagrams now. One that has all of my beautiful photography work, and I also put education on there, but I have another one as well. If you're looking specifically for education, you can find me at either of those. I would love to connect. Make sure you tell me though where you found me, because of course we like to know. We already
Yes,
talked about that. We like to know where people came from. So
we do.
if you found me on the show, let me know and we can definitely connect.
Okay. All right, everyone. I hope that this has given you just a tiny bit of motivation to go and put yourself out there in person and have and seize the opportunity to collect emails while you are there. All right, that's it for this episode. See you next time.